Welcome to Business Class, a podcast for people wanting to upgrade their thinking, upgrade their learning, and upgrade their life. I'm your host, Eugenia Panderhos, founder of Business Class Collective, best-selling author, and life coach. If you're an entrepreneur, a startup, or someone who dreams of reaching their full potential, then you're in the right place. You'll feel empowered and inspired to design the life you've always wanted. Let's do this. Hello, gorgeous people, and welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a fabulous week so far. I know I am, but more recently I've had a croaky voice, so I'm happy to be back and bringing you this latest episode on resilience. So let's get started. As many of you can attest, globally we have been through very challenging times due to the COVID pandemic. Life changed quite quickly. Suddenly, we needed to wear masks for protection, and some people got their sewing machines out and became very creative in making their own fabulous versions. My neighbour made them for her family, and they were terrific. Hand sanitizers were on every shop counter, together with a sign directing use of said sanitizer before entering. Again, people became creative and made their own, as did I. In fact, so many people loved what I created, they thought I should market it. But that's a different story. And toilet paper flew off the shelf, as did canned food, tissues, baking flour, paracetamol and other medications, and so much more. Shopkeepers and pharmacists placed limits on purchase quantities to ensure that everyone had access to what they needed. People became creative with their baking, and suddenly everywhere you looked on social media, someone was baking sourdough, biscuits and cakes that competed with any cooking show or pro chef. But why would this be the case? Well, it's known that sifting, mixing, kneading, rolling and baking can have a calming effect because it keeps the focus in the present moment and away from the fear of the unknown. Baking allows you to express yourself, to show your creativity, to feel pride, and to experience joy in sharing your creations with your loved ones. And who doesn't love that? The Journal of Positive Psychology suggests that people who partake in creative tasks and projects, whether large or small, report feeling more relaxed and happier. During the pandemic, homes were redecorated with fresh coats of paint, and home gardens had never looked better. My beautiful friend Em became an expert hand at kombucha and baking the very best seeded crackers. I can attest to that, but actually I'm sure she'd started that well before the pandemic. I too harness my creativity in the kitchen, in my garden, and with my writing and photography. My natural disposition is to seek and admire beauty, and that I did, in nature, in architecture, in my home, and in my productive garden. During this time, the planet seemed to sigh a breath of fresh air. The sky was clear and quiet as a result of air travel mostly coming to a halt. Famous landmark city glistened beneath the sun without the layer of air pollution that dulled the atmosphere, and people who lived there had a new appreciation of their hometowns. What I'm sharing here is just an example of the adaptability, creativity, and resilience that can happen in times of trouble. Conversely, some cities suffered more than others, and Melbourne was in the top 3 cities doing it tough. We are yet to see the long-term fallout of the policy that saw people totally isolated, alone with their thoughts, or in less than desirable company or relationships, of the damage that came to businesses and job security, or the conspiracy theories that played havoc on mental health, not to mention the shutdowns of entire cities, suburbs, and even streets if they crossed separate suburbs. Unhappy homes and toxic relationships meant more people suffered behind closed doors. I, for one, was separated from my 2 eldest children due to the travel and border restrictions. It is something that will be difficult to forget, but since that time, we have had many reunions and celebrations, and I cannot tell you in adequate words what it meant to me to hold my children in my arms. My workplace team is located in Melbourne, and that meant the way in which we did business changed. No longer was I flying there for face-to-face meetings, but instead we embraced the Teams app to conduct our catch-ups on our laptops. Knowing just how tough my children and team members were doing, I surprised them with boxes of non-perishable groceries and vouchers to get the things they needed. This small act of love let those closest to me know that they were not entirely alone nor forgotten, and that even from afar I could spoil them just a little bit. As a mother and work colleague, I felt my only option was to show resilience and be resilient. I also recognise how fortunate I am to be surrounded by people who also possess resilience. Like all things, I suppose you can be positively influenced by those around you, and I'm grateful for the people in my life. I know they've helped me in my challenging times. As a population, we were asked to dig deep, to find the strength and resilience to attempt to live a normal life in what was unprecedented times for our generation. Resilience is like a muscle. We need to flex it often to have it work best. Resilience helps to process and overcome hardship. When lacking resilience, overwhelm can happen quite easily and can lead to unhealthy support systems. Resilience is important because it helps both individuals and communities to thrive in the face of adversity. It helps to manage times of uncertainty and stress and helps to protect from anxiety and depression. Each time you work through a stressful situation, you have the opportunity to develop your skills over time and improve your response. What might throw you quite easily when you're younger may seem like water off a duck's back now that you have more experience and know-how. Resilience is about your ability to bounce back from the obstacles that life throws at you. It's about having the capacity to emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable from the disruption in our thoughts and feelings. So, what are the standout characteristics or methods in harnessing resilience? Firstly, acknowledge the challenges, overwhelm, or feelings of helplessness so that you can validate your concerns. You may feel that you want to push the feelings away, but they will resurface and you may end up needing to work harder on managing them. Secondly, cultivate the belief that you can cope. Much like muscle memory, this is a good time to reflect on the other hardships that you have experienced and come through the other end. Consider what personal qualities and skills help you to cope and engage those to help you now. Next, breathe deeply to bring you back to the present and to send the message to your brain that you are indeed safe. When anxious or upset, your breathing will most likely happen from the upper chest, and that means that you're not taking calm, deep breaths. So instead, engage your diaphragm and breathe in slowly and then exhale slowly. And do this repeatedly until you find yourself in a state of calm. I actually have a blog post on my website if you'd like to see the instructions on that. Next, work on your mindset and believe in your abilities and the victory that you have over past experiences. Feel the confidence that comes from harnessing your inner strength and knowing that you can be your own hero. If you did it once, you can do it again. Then keep in touch with your tribe, your loved ones and your friends. Make time for that telephone call or coffee catch up. Send a message or a meme and take the opportunity to check in with them. Open up and share your feelings with your most trusted people or person. Or instead, begin a journal where you can write down your thoughts. Putting them to paper can help you process what you're feeling. Get out of your head and help others. When you swap the focus away from yourself and help another in need, it can be very rewarding and empowering. You can harness positive emotions and they can and indeed be the antidote that you require. Watch heartwarming romantic comedies as a way to lift the veil on your worries. Look at the situation through the eyes of the character, have a laugh, and just take some time to reflect and have fun. Immerse yourself in art or literature, attend a play, visit a public garden or open space, admire architecture, take in the sights of the city in which you live, get some sunshine, take a walk, and finally, remember that when you smile, the whole world smiles with you. Until next time. You've been listening to Business Class presented by Eugenia Panterhos, founder of Business Class Collective. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcast, subscribe, rate and review this podcast. Share the love and let your family and friends know too. You can follow Business Class Collective on Instagram and Facebook. Join me next time.